everybody, I know you've all been wondering about this little thing called plate tectonics. It's simple really, but I will do the courtesy of explaining it to you. When planet Earth formed billions of years ago, it was extremely hot and made of molten or melted rock. As the planet cooled, a crust formed on the surface, much like a crust forms on chocolate pudding when it cools. Similar to a baseball or an onion, planet Earth is made up of layers. The three main layers are the crust, the mantle, and the core. These layers grow hotter the deeper they extend down into the centers of the Earth. The crust is the outermost layer of the Earth and the thinnest of the three layers. Mountains, valleys, hills, and plains are all part of the crust. Lake bottoms and ocean floors are also part of it. The crust that makes up the dry land is thinner than the crust that makes up the ocean floor. Beneath the crust is a layer called the mantle. The mantle, which is about 1,800 miles thick, is the largest layer of the Earth. Rock in the mantle is very hot, ranging from about 1,300 degrees near the crust to 7,200 degrees Fahrenheit near the core. The upper part of the mantle is called the lithosphere, which is just above the asthenosphere. The lithosphere is broken up into gigantic solid plates which move around on the flowing, nearly molten rock of the asthenosphere. The innermost part of the Earth, the core, is a very hot plate, with temperatures ranging from 7,200 to 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's made mainly of iron and nickel. The gigantic slabs of rock that make up Earth's lithosphere are called tectonic plates. There are two types, continental plates and oceanic plates, and some a combination of both. As the plates move, they can set off earthquakes, cause molten rock to spew out of volcanoes, give rise to islands, push up mountain ranges, and create new seas. There are 14 large, irregularly shaped tectonic plates as wide as several thousand miles. The largest plates include the North American, South American, Pacific, Australian, Nazca, Eurasian, African, and Antarctic plates. There are also a number of smaller plates which are only a few hundred miles wide. They include the Juan de Fuca, Arabian, Cocos, Philippine, Caribbean, and Scotia plates. So, how did we even discover that we had tectonic plates in the first place? Well, it goes a long way back when rumors about them were around, but the main guy who got the research going was a guy named Alfred. In 1910, while looking at the map, a German scientist noticed something interesting about the shape of the Earth's continents. When placed side by side, they seemed to fit together like giant puzzle pieces. The scientists, Alfred and Wegener, realized that the pieces formed what looked like one big continent. Mountain ranges seemed to line up when you put the maps of the continents together. Wegener also knew that certain types of rock and certain plant and animal fossils had been found on more than one continent. All this suggested to Wegener that, long ago, the continents might have been all part of one large continent. He called this supercontinent Pangaea, a word that means all land. Wegener's theory explained how this huge continent gradually broke into pieces. The pieces formed smaller continents that drifted until they reached the positions they hold today. He guessed that this splitting and moving of the continents took about 200 million years. Other scientists did not believe Wegener's theory. It seemed impossible that such huge pieces of land could drift from one place to another. Wegener died in 1930, unable to prove his controversial theory. Years later, though, scientists learned something that gave new weight to Wegener's ideas. But we won't talk about that now. It would take way too long. So I will get on to the subject of plate boundaries. There are three basic ways tectonic plates move in relation to one another. They can move apart, crash together, or slide past one another. Geologists classify plate movements by the ways in which the plates move at their boundaries. There are three types of plate boundaries: divergent, convergent, and transform. Divergent plate boundaries occur when two plates move apart. When two plates move apart, hot molten rock called magma can build up between the plates. This can cause things to form like rift zones and mid-ocean ridges. At convergent plate boundaries, plates move toward one another. When they meet, there's a collision that occurs in slow motion, and something has to give. Sometimes the edge of one plate sinks under the edge of another. This usually occurs when a heavier plate meets a lighter plate, such as when plates carrying continents meets plates carrying the seafloor. This sinking is called subduction. Convergent boundaries can create mountain ranges, volcanoes, and trenches. In other places where plates meet, they neither collide nor pull apart. They just slide past one another. These plates are called transform plate boundaries. At transform boundaries, no new crust is formed and no crust is lost. When they are going past each other, tension is sometimes created, but when it is released, there can be disastrous results. It can also cause earthquake activity, leading to rock slides and faults. Okay, so I could go on and on about everything there is to know about plate tectonics, but that would take forever. So, just to leave a good impression, I am going to sing a song.